If you would like to reduce the size of the large heading 1 font size prior to starting this lesson, first go to the CSS tab in the Properties panel. Choose the Edit Rule button. In the Type category, go to the Font Size field and designate a size, either 14 pixels or 18 pixels. Once you select Apply, the new font size will take place. We're going to progress now by doing a couple of things. We're going to add in some further text, and we're also going to add in some photographs. However, prior to doing either of those two things, I want to do something about the text that we've already got here, i.e. this heading, Stockton Heath, the little village with a big heart. If I left it like this, well, in my opinion, it would be far too big in relation to everything else within our site. And you'll notice the size is set down here. Come down to your Properties panel, and whilst we're looking at the CSS tab, you'll notice down here that the font size is set to 100, and this 100 relates to the field just to its right. At the moment it's set to %. This would be fine if I was concerned with making this site a responsive site, i.e. it was flexible and responded to various different browser sizes. But for this tutorial, what I want to do is set it to a pixel size, and I want my size to be 12 pixels. Therefore, let me show you one way that we can change this. We could actually change it here, where it says size, within these two connected fields. However, there is another method, and that's by selecting this Page Properties button just below. So by selecting it, our Page Properties dialog opens up. And you'll notice in the category column at the left that this now takes us automatically to the category of Appearance, CSS. And within here, you can see that I can change the font size here as well. Therefore, where it says size, I'm going to change it from what it's at the moment, 100. So I'll click on the drop reveal arrow here and run down to 12. And then in the percentage field, let me click on that drop reveal arrow and I'll just select the top option there, PX, short for pixels. And therefore now, once I come right down here to the bottom right and select Apply, well, that immediately does exactly what it says. It applies that, i.e. my font size changes to 12 pixels. So I'll now simply click on OK. And there we go, my heading here now is much more manageable. Now before I do anything else, I'll do a quick save. So I'll run up to File and then drop down here and click on Save. Right then, my next step is to add in some photographs. And I want to add in the large photograph of Stockton Heath Village, here where we left in this title, how to use this document. So I'm going to remove that title by left-clicking and highlighting it all first of all, and then hitting delete on my keyboard. OK, that's now removed, and therefore I need to add in the photograph that I want to be placed here. So if I come over to my Files button, over in my Collapsed Files panel, and select it, then here, within my site, you'll have noticed that within this Images folder, there are quite a number of different photographs. Now, the ones that we are going to use throughout this course, well, I've made them available to you within your Work Files folder. Therefore, what you'll need to do is ensure you've got all those photographs and placed within this Images folder. You can do that here within Dreamweaver, although to be honest it's probably easier, even without opening up Dreamweaver, simply placing those photographs within the relevant folder, this Images folder, on your hard drive. And that will mean from that point onwards, when you do open up Dreamweaver, they'll be reflected here within this Images folder. Anyway, let me just open up this Images folder once more by clicking here. And the photograph that I want to place here is called Hang 'em High. Now you might be wondering why it's called that. Well, it's simply because this photograph was taken from the top floor of the local police station, and from what I understand through the history of Stockton Heath, where this police station is placed is actually where there was a gallows quite a number of centuries ago. So that's why I've called it Hang 'em High. Now what you might have noticed, there are actually two of these files called Hang 'em High. This one is a PNG file, and the one just above it is a JPG file, i.e. a JPEG file. Now it's up to you which one you use. I'm going to place this JPEG file in first of all, so you can see the subtle difference between this and the PNG file. So I'll left click on this JPEG file and drag and drop down to the place where my cursor is, where we've just removed that text. OK, and of course once I deselect, this photograph now appears here. And if I just scroll down a little bit, you can see the difference between this and the PNG file, which I'll insert in a second. This JPEG file is flat in that it doesn't have a drop shadow around it, whereas the PNG file, I have created a drop shadow with it. so it's up to you which one you prefer. I'll just scroll back up to the top, and then now if I select the photograph once more, you'll notice down in my properties panel that in this field, indicated as SRC, short for source, well, this is the file name and path, i.e. where it's located on my drive. And if I simply want to substitute this JPEG version of the photograph with the PNG version, well, there are a couple of ways of doing this. And that's by either using something called the pick whip, which is located just to the right of that path, or by using the folder button, which is located just to the right of the pick whip. However, there is a slight problem with using the pick whip, and I'll show you what I mean. If I come back over here and click on File to reveal my site structure, then yes, my folder is open, my images folder, ready for me to use this pick whip and point to the particular file that I want to use as the substitute. However, do notice what happens. If I left click on this pick whip, I should be able to drag across here and point to the exact file that I want to use, which in our case is going to be the PNG file, and that should instantly substitute this JPEG file with the PNG file. However, as soon as I left click on this pick whip, then because I've got my files panel collapsed like this to this size, then it automatically closes. If I hadn't got it collapsed to this size and I had it on display all the time, then I would be able to do this. Anyway, don't worry, all is not lost. What I can do is click on this folder button I alluded to a few moments ago, and that will instantly open up this images folder for me. And there is that PNG file that I want to use. So I'll select it and then run down and click on OK. Great stuff, we've now substituted that JPEG version of the file with exactly the same photograph. However, because I added in a drop shadow using Adobe's Photoshop, then this might be the one you prefer. Incidentally, you can add a drop shadow using CSS. However, I just wanted to make it simple for you. So if I just deselect just outside of the photograph, you'll see that drop shadow better. Anyway, I'm going to keep it at the PNG version, so I'll run up to File and down to Save once more. Next, I'll add in another photograph, and I want to add it in down here, so I'll just scroll to the bottom. Now where that title is there, Clearing Method, I'm going to leave that for the moment. I'm going to replace that in a different tutorial. However, just underneath where this title is, Logo Replacement, well, I want to remove this, so I'll place my cursor at the end of it and repeatedly hit my back button until I remove all that text. Okay, good. Therefore, by ensuring my cursor is at that position, let me come back over to my Files button. I'll select it, and I want to use a different photograph. And this photograph is called Tom's 1. So I'll just scroll down to the bottom, noticing that these photographs are in alphabetical order. There it is at the bottom. I'll left click on it and then drag and drop over here to where we've just removed that text. Okay, good. Once more, because I'm a creature of habit, I'm just going to do another save. So I'll hit File and run down to Save once more. Okay then, now I think for this tutorial I am actually going to finish here. Therefore, in the following tutorial, I'm going to continue by adding in some text to the right of this photograph, but I also want to show you the ramifications of adding in text in relation to the photograph next to it. So I will leave this tutorial here, and I'll see you in a moment.